What is opening this week, brought to you by our friends at AMC Theaters. Now, we got 3 films going into wide release. Today, we're going to talk about 2 of those films. We'll talk about the other one on Thursday. So, Ashley, what is opening up this week?
First up is the new Bradley Cooper, Sienna Miller film, Burnt. Adam Jones, played by Cooper, was once a top chef in Paris until drugs and alcohol led to a meltdown that put his career on hold. After moving from New Orleans to London, Adam gets a shot at redemption when his former maitre d', played by Daniel Bruhl, reluctantly hires him as the head chef of his fine dining restaurant. Demanding perfection from his newly formed staff, the acerbic and temperamental Jones gets a second chance to fulfill his dream of earning a 3rd Michelin star. Next is the political comedy Our Brand is Crisis. Failing badly in the polls, a Bolivian presidential candidate enlists the services of an American management team for help. The main star is Calamity Jane Bodine, played by Sandra Bullock, a brilliant strategist who comes out of self-imposed retirement for a chance to beat her professional nemesis, the loathsome Pat Candy, played by Billy Bob Thornton. With Candy working for the opposition, it becomes a down-and-dirty, all-out battle between political consultants where nothing is sacred and winning is all that matters. Christian, which of these films should audiences be looking forward to the most?
It's funny. I was talking about this with Schnepp before. As far as Our Brand is Crisis, it does seem like a kind of a dated film. I haven't seen it. I see it tonight. But it almost kind of reminds me of Wag the Dog, when those types of movies.
We were talking
I
about
love
some
that movie.
some
Primary
Travolta
Colors.
movie from the
Primary
90s.
Colors
Yeah.
or something along those lines. And then even the name Pat Candy. It's like, oh, I don't know. I like Sandra Bullock. I'm curious to see what the movie's about. I don't know how well it's going to do. And there was a question that was posed on Movie Talk last week about what movies you like that other people do not. It looks like, as far as critic ratings go, Burnt is that for me. I really, really enjoyed it, but a lot of people were seeing it don't like. I don't know if they thought it was cliched or whatever it was. I really thought it was not a great movie, but a really good movie. I thought it was a good performance by Cooper. I thought the chemistry between Cooper and Miller was actually better than it was in American Sniper, and they didn't have to worry about a baby.
I like their chemistry more than his with Jennifer Lawrence, to be honest.
Yeah,
I really do.
They have great chemistry in this movie, and I also Daniel Bruhl is always amazing in the film too. And there was just something. The way that the food is set up, everything, the way that it's portrayed, and I said it in my review, is that it was a sexy film. Like the way that it was that John Wells of ER fame directed this movie as well, and there was just something about it. I enjoyed it, so I would take Burnt out of the 2.
I'm actually looking forward to all 3 movies opening this weekend, but the one that has stood out to me the most is Our Brand is Crisis. I thought the trailer, for me personally, the trailer hit every note right to me. It has all the good feelings about like a 90s political expose kind of movie with the modern comedy kind of sensibilities too well. I love Billy Bob Thornton in these kinds of roles. I really do. And I just think the rounding out of the cast is all great. I can't remember the name of the actor, but the guy playing her client, the Bolivian presidential candidate.
Yeah.
He was in that one Jack Ryan movie where he was like the cartel enforcer
he's been around
guy.
for a while.
He is. I love seeing him whenever he pop. I can't even remember his name, but I love it when I see him pop up in things. So looking forward to all 3 of these films very, very much. But the one I'm looking forward to most is probably Our Brand is Crisis.
Yeah, I mean, just from the trailers, I mean, Burnt, it felt a little mechanical to me. Like, oh, it's the chef, and he's gonna fall in love with that young girl, and he's gonna get that star at the end. It didn't really hook me, and it's definitely like, we were talking about it. I was like, is it like Chef? And you're like, no, it's more like an Anthony Bourdain kind of like, he had a really rough life, and he's trying to get his act back together. So, Bradley Cooper's a great actor. I kind of want to see it. Our Brand is Crisis, really, I don't want to see it at all. I thought the trailers just did remind me of like a bad late 80s, early 90s, like, kind of corny. Even at the very end, like me and Holly were groaning when they showed that llama from the trailer get hit. I was like, what is this, The Hangover?
I loved it. I loved that
I know,
moment.
but it just, to me, it was corny, and it was like, oh, you're pulling that card in the trailer? I don't know. It feels like it doesn't know what it wants to be. Like, is it going to be an over-the-top comedy, or is it going to be an actual situation comedy, or is it going to be funny at all? I wonder. I mean, so of all the 3 of them, the one we're not talking about is the one I actually do want to see the most. So. Which we'll
get
talk
to that
about
one on Thursday.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm just curious. Out of the 3 movies we got coming out, well, let's focus just on the 2, on Burnt and Our Brand is Crisis. We'll talk about Scarlet Sky a little bit later in the week. But which one are you more likely to run out and see?
It's both of them really aren't jumping out at me, but if I had to absolutely pick, I'd probably pick Burnt, even though the story kind of does seem like it's been done a few times. I love Bradley Cooper, so I would probably go see that one if I had to pick out of the two.